The act of abortion is murder, plain and simple, and liberal psychopaths don't have an inkling how their ignorance about life has deteriorated the foundation of a marriage or the societal implications that goes along with it. And of course, Hollywood, infamous for liberalism and social atrophy, had this to say via Whoopi Goldberg.
Nowhere to go. This law came about because people wanted people to have somewhere safe and somewhere clean. It has nothing to do with your religion. This is not a religious issue. This is a human issue.
Yes, it is a human issue for both the mother and unborn life. Miss me with that. Hollywood egregiously touts their immorality, but has and always has been a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah.
Many Republicans, like President Ronald Reagan, took a firm stance against it.
We're told about a woman's right to control her own body, but doesn't the unborn child have a higher right, and that is to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness?
Did the Constitution imply that the act of abortion was a fundamental right exclusively granted to a woman? Concerning the Fifth Amendment in Roe v. Wade, first, the Supreme Court established a right of personal privacy protected by the Due Process Clause that includes the right of a woman to determine whether or not to bear a child. In doing so, the court dramatically increased judicial oversight of legislation under the privacy line of cases, striking down aspects of abortion-related laws in practically all the states, the District of Columbia, and the territories. To reach this result, the court first undertook a lengthy historical review of medical and legal views regarding abortion, finding that modern prohibitions on abortion were of relatively recent vintage and thus lacked the historical foundation which might have preserved them from constitutional review. Second, the court established that the word person, as used in the Due Process Clause or other provisions of the Constitution, did not include the unborn, and therefore the unborn lacked federal constitutional protection. What the Fifth Amendment says: no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. What about the life, liberty, or due process of law of the unborn? It may sound ridiculous or even insensitive to women. However, abortion deprives the rights of the unborn even if the courts do not recognize when life begins. The 14th Amendment in addressing abortion rights, written for the majority opinion in Roe v. Wade, Justice Harry Blackmun said that the court held a woman's right to an abortion was implicit in the right to privacy protected under the 14th Amendment. However, while the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a woman's right to choose, it also acknowledged the state's interest in protecting the potential of human life. To balance the competing interests, or in other words, to compromise, the court established a trimester framework for the legality of abortions. First trimester, up to 12 weeks, gives a woman an absolute right to an abortion in the first 3 months of pregnancy. Second trimester, up to 28 weeks. This allows the government to regulate abortion to protect the mother's health, but cannot ban it. Third trimester, up to 40 weeks. Because the fetus is considered viable, can survive on its own outside the womb about 24 weeks of pregnancy, states can prohibit abortion except in the cases when the mother's life is at risk. Okay, folks, so this is where I bring it all together and I wrap it up. As always, I try to summarize my thoughts into a cohesive dialogue for my audience to ponder and make critical decisions based on the information I provide. And I try to be unbiased in matters that have two sides of the support, which in this case is pro-life versus pro-choice. Unfortunately, my soul will blatantly tell you how I feel about abortion and how a deprived society like today continues to integrate this monstrous act of abortion as a common part of everyday life. I sympathize with the occasions that some women become pregnant in terms of incest and rape, but I will always say the unborn child is not at fault for the circumstances in which it enters this world. In addition, some willing families are looking to adopt unwanted children.
That's killing of an innocent human life. We can do better than that. You've got myriads of opportunities. If you can't parent, you aren't forced to parent. There are thousands of couples waiting for babies.
Doesn't that equate to a solution to the argument? Hello? I quote an article by Brian Clowes, PhD, June 2nd, 2021. Since Americans value the concepts of privacy, freedom, and choice, anti-lifers illegitimately extend them to cover their behavior. Thus, they label any opposition to abortion, homosexual acts, euthanasia, and other abuses intrusive, anti-freedom, and anti-choice. So I say, you don't want to be an unexpected mother? Close your legs and stop acting like sex has no consequences. And to my male counterparts, keep your pricks in your pants if you don't want the responsibility of being a parent as well. Of course, there are options like abstinence and contraception. But I guess some of you are not woke enough to realize how to use a condom. You know, put it over like that. That's how it works. The Bible clearly states that children are the most precious of God's creation. Although this passage refers to bringing children to sin, I think it should apply to those supporting abortion. You're better off tying a millstone to your neck and throwing yourself into the deepest part of the ocean when it comes to hurting children and unborn children. It is my hope Roe versus Wade is overturned for the sake of the unborn. Wake up, America. Wake up.